Welcome to the Vibrations with Kay. Welcome, welcome. If you haven't already, please click that subscribe button below. Today I am here with my cousin Courtney, and she had helped me give birth to my baby Osiris. And today we're going to talk about the difference in between a home birth versus a hospital birth, and kind of her experience helping me birth a child. This is her first time helping someone birth a child. So she's no doula, she's not a midwife, she's just a good support person. So how did you feel initially when I told you I was having a home birth and I would like you to be there to support me?
I felt good about it. I was excited. I was happy. In the beginning, we thought it was going to be a doula there or a midwife. I did think that. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll just be there and just see it happen. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to have anything to do with this. Just sit back and watch.
No. There was no doula or no midwife. It was just us.
So that was what my first initial thought was like, oh, okay, cool. I could just be there. Like it is when you have a baby at a hospital. You got your visitors there that can see the baby being born. And then as it kept getting deeper into the pregnancy, it was like, no doula, no midwife, just me in the pool and whoever want to be there. And I was like, oh my God.
Like the older days.
Yeah. I got a little bit nervous, but then I was like, you know what? This is what Kayla want. And everything was working in her favor to make it happen. So I was like, it's going to work. This is what she put out there, and it's about to happen. Because you was trying everything to do it other places, and nothing was working out for you. So I'm like, oh, this is how it's got to be. This is it. And I'm going to be there to support.
And the reason why I did not have a midwife or doula was just because I was under the impression all I needed was a doula, but a doula can't be present unless the midwife is there. So to me, it was just kind of pointless of even having a doula. But and a midwife costs about like $3,500, and I didn't figure it out to the end of my pregnancy, and I didn't have the money to pay. So I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna go ahead and just have a natural home birth by myself. I didn't know who was gonna be there. I knew Courtney was for sure gonna be there. I had my other cousin Sam, and my cousin Stephen was there for a little bit, but he wasn't there to actually witness the birth. It was 25 hours or 26, one of those hours long. It was very long. My water broke at midnight. He still didn't come the next day to 1 p.m. So it was a long, long process. We thought it was going to go faster than what it did. I was dilating very, very slow. I wasn't really nervous at all until the end where I felt him coming. I felt like I was about to die. So we actually was about to go to the hospital because that's how much pain. I was like, I can't do this pain no more. My contractions was going back to back. I was like, I can't do this. If this gonna keep happening, just take me to the hospital. I don't care. But he was coming, so that's why I was in that much pain. I was walking as soon as I got out the pool, out the water. I was walking and I was in the middle of the living room and I just felt a whole bunch of pressure. I'm like, it felt like I had a doodle times 100. I'm like, yeah, it's probably his big head coming out. Mm-hmm. So I shouldn't have probably did this, but I had laid down on my yoga mat. Now I be sitting here thinking like I probably should have squatted, but my adrenaline was just like, oh, whatever.
You was just like, lay down, get down, get down.
So yeah, I probably would have been better if I squatted though. It probably wouldn't have been that painful, but I was laying down on my back, so that made it gravity works. It pushed against me trying to push him out, so it probably would have been easier if I squatted, but I didn't. I was just my adrenaline was just rushing through my body, and Courtney was there to help his head, got his big head out, and then I pushed out his body, then the placenta. That wasn't really that painful. It was just really getting his head out. A lot of people thought that something could happen to me or him. Nothing really happened. I didn't rip at all. It was just I had to push very, 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 very hard as I could. I was screaming at the top of my lungs. I think even the front door was cracked a little bit.
Yeah,
at my house.
Because I went outside. We was about to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
I went to the car to get the car set up. We had the whole setup where she was gonna sit in the back seat. Sam was going to sit in the back with her because she was having her back contractions was off the chain. Like you could feel it, you could see it. And I'm like, you're gonna have to sit in the back of the truck and rub her back through her contractions. We was about to take a 40-minute drive to this hospital. And I came back in the house. Sam was holding Kayla, trying to hold her up. They was both sliding down to the floor. It was a lot of yelling. I was looking like, what's going on? What's about to happen? She was like, I gotta get down. It's coming. It's time. I was like, oh my God. I do think the door was probably open. Whole neighborhood probably heard.
Nobody called the police.
Nobody called.
I could have been in here getting murdered. No one
People be out here minding their business. Level 1000 right there. So nobody did that. I know the neighbor heard because I can hear her up and down the steps all night long. It's like we probably keeping her up. But at that point, it was on. It was like it happened 4 minutes after that. I had to hurry up and get a phone, 2 phones to Sam. She recorded while I kind of assisted, which I didn't really do too much because Kayla knew. At that point, I kept telling Kayla because she had a lot of questions throughout the pregnancy. Through the labor. You know, when is this supposed to happen? How is this supposed to go? And I'm like, listen. Your body is going to let you know everything that you need to know. You going to know when to push. You going to know everything. You just going to know. It's an instinct that you have. And it all came. It all went smoothly. Everything happened. She did dilate slowly. But it was like really once her water broke, it took a while, but it was progressing. It was progressing slowly but surely. But
yeah, and I don't know, this is my experience, but I think being in the water definitely was slowing down my contractions. So, I mean, I don't know. Some people say they have birth fast in the water. I don't know.
So you think if you was not in the water, you would have had them sooner?
Yeah, for sure. I don't think it would have been 26 hours. Because even when you first got here, my contractions was 10 minutes back to back when I had woke up in the morning. But once I had sat in that water, I think it went up to like 15 minutes when I was in the tub upstairs.
Yeah, 14, 15.
Yeah, it went up.
And that was another thing too. Your contractions was like every 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Then they would go to like 3 minutes, down to 2 minutes, back to 5 minutes, back to 6 minutes, to 10 minutes, go back down like in between. It was so sporadic and all over the place. I was like, the only thing I can do is to check to see how you dilate. That's the only way I'm going to know how soon we getting, because we couldn't go by her contractions, honestly. And she was in a lot of pain. It was something you never felt before, I'm sure of it. Most of us, you know what I'm saying? Right. That's the biggest pain a lot of us has ever felt. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't go by her screams, and I'm like, yeah, we out. Everybody hurt differently, so I couldn't go by that. Yeah, it was
terrible.
It was a fun waiting game. I fell asleep. Sam relieved me when she got here. I was like, I gotta take a nap. I took about an hour nap. I woke up to Kayla downstairs screaming. I came downstairs and I'm like, how far are we now?
Man, it was terrible.
It definitely was, but after that nap I took, I think, which was probably like another 2 hours maybe.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah, it was a lot. I was hoping he was gonna come in the morning, but of course not. He ended up coming at 1 p.m. the next day because I started feeling contractions that morning when I had woke up Friday. Wait, when I had him on Saturday?
Mm-hmm.
So Friday morning when I woke up is when I was feeling contractions, but I didn't even know they was contractions. So I was just going on about my day. And then my mucus plug came out. I'm like, oh, so these are really contractions. Because I didn't feel any Braxton hicks like everybody else did. So I had no clue what a contraction felt like. I just thought that my back was hurting. And I didn't know what was going on. So, but as the day progressed, it was pretty bearable till it got to be like, after my water broke, then the pain really started kicking in for real. Mm-hmm. But it was still all really bearable until, he was about to come. Then I felt like I was going to die. But then he's here, everything's fine, I'm healthy, he's healthy. A lot of people ask me about my postpartum thing or whatever, however that go. I don't know. How's postpartum for you, Courtney?
Well, I have 2 children. My first one was just, in the hospital. I did have an epidural, basic. My second one, I had an emergency C-section. It was like, get him out right now. So it was two different types of, they was both really different. With Camille, with my first daughter, I was 20 years old, young. My body just, I popped back quickly, honestly. I didn't know what I was doing, so of course I was out here trying to still be driving and doing stuff. So, after a while I was like, oh, I need to calm this down, because you do need to really sit back and just relax and let yourself heal, let your body do the work that it need to do. And I learned that with my second one, which was 10 years later. And that was the emergency C-section, where it was like, oh no, you got no other choice but to sit down, because you got stitches, you're just a mess. So I did take, for about a whole month, I really didn't do nothing, honestly. So that healing happened, that was well. When I went to my doctor after my 6 week, she was like, you're doing great. And I think it's because I was like, you know what, I'm going to take the time to actually let myself heal, and not just really do too much, so.
I haven't been taking any time to heal at all. I'm 20 years old, like she was when she had her first child, and I have been running the streets like a maniac. So I'm not really. It's just me in my house. I don't really have nobody here, but I haven't really been depressed, and I think that's one of the reasons why, because I don't have nobody here to zone me out, pretty much. I feel like a lot of people, when they be going through postpartum, they got a lot to do with their child father. And, because when I be talking to girls, they be saying, they be making them feel bad about their body, about spending too much time with the baby, holding the baby. I don't know, men just seem kind of selfish sometimes when you have a child. But I haven't really been depressed. I've been leaving out a lot. I don't like sitting in the house too much with him. So I've been leaving out. I haven't been bleeding that heavy. I think I'm on day 9. I haven't been bleeding that heavy. But when I do drive too much, or if I do sit down, like on a hard surface too long, my vagina will start hurting really bad by the end of the day. It feels like it's gonna fall out. But other than that, I haven't really been experiencing anything.
I thought you were talking about. I thought you meant like postpartum, like healing. I know you meant postpartum depression.
Oh yeah, because a lot of people been asking me about like how I feel giving birth to him at home, like personally, with my physically, emotionally, spiritually, and yeah, I haven't really been depressed. I'm actually more happy now that he's here. I would say I was more depressed when I was pregnant, because my hormones is just all out of whack. But it's just like a relief to know he here, relief to not, because I was anticipating the birth, how the birth was going to be, how the contractions. It's a lot of anticipation with your first child, just to know how the whole process is going to go. So I think that was stressing me out a lot as well. But now that he's here, it's just kind of like, okay, cool, I can go on about my life. I be tired. I be trying to adjust to his schedule and sleep. It's actually getting a little bit better now. He's starting to sleep a little bit more at night. But I'm just adjusting like my sleep schedule and everything. I'm not off any medicine, any medication at all. Like I said, I didn't tear. I'm probably going to only stings in the next week. Like when I'm about 3 weeks after I had him, then I'm gonna let y'all know how that process goes. They say it's good for postpartum. But yeah, like emotionally, I just feel happy. I feel relieved, happy that he's here. Happy that he's healthy. I feel good.
Stay that way, because like it's with my first one, I did have postpartum depression. The second one, I didn't, because I kind of learned a lot from the first one. But it took a while. It didn't hit me right away with the first one. It was maybe about 3 months later where it really hit me, and I think it was the isolation, because I was at home, wasn't working when I had the first one, so I was at home, I was by myself, and everybody was gone, and it just, also, you be like, okay, everybody care about this baby, you know what I'm saying, but I'm just struggling, you know what I'm saying, mentally struggling,
asked about the baby.
Emotionally struggling, so it was different with the second one, so stay as happy as you can, get you a breath of fresh air as much as you can. Don't mean you got to go out here and, be out in the streets all the time. It could be something simple, just going outside, taking a quick little walk, around the block, just anything like that. Continue to eat healthy, drink your water. A lot of that stuff helps. maintain healthy relationships with people, somebody toxic, don't even talk to them during that time. Because when you are depressed and it is just you and your baby, you know what I'm saying, your baby gonna feel it. You know what I'm saying, more than anything, because it happened with me. And so just try to you know, stay on top of your game with that. Your hormones are trying to balance out, and it's like your hormones just run you. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll have you thinking crazy stuff like, he don't love me, he don't want me, you ain't worth nothing. You be like, dang, but I am. And you just be going a constant mental battle. So stay on top of it. That's all I can tell you.
So as far as your epidural, do you feel like, because you know that's a very, very, very powerful drug, and with any drug it's going to be a come down. So do you feel like with you taking the epidural, do you feel like it had something to do with you coming down off that high? Because I know a lot of girls say they can't even walk after the epidural, like and then sometimes your legs will give out.
After the epidural, for me, no, I couldn't walk. I don't remember even how long, maybe a whole day, I don't know. But eventually they do tell you got to get your butt up and you got to try to walk to this bathroom. And
so what, they give you a catheter so you can pee?
Yeah, you get a catheter in there. You get that before the epidural, I think. I think they gave it to me before the epidural.
And
did
you feel that?
Yeah, it wasn't uncomfortable for me. I've had with both children. Well, the first one, of course, I was like, oh my God, you know.
Right. Sticking something in my
bladder.
Right.
Yeah, so that was cool. But I'm telling you, with the second one, it was like, you done? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It wasn't no big deal to me. But that first one, I was like, wait a minute, what's that going up in there? I'm scared.
You don't never get nothing up that hole.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was time for me to walk, and they was there next to me, and I walked to the bathroom. Yes, your legs felt like they weigh whole 300 pounds each. Oh my gosh, you be like, I can't lift it, and like, yes you can, you can do it. Mind over matter when it comes to anything, and you do it. You know, you come down, take a little while, but you do it. But then, you know, watching you do this naturally like you did, I'm like, dang, I'm thinking to myself, like, I couldn't even walk after I had my child. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When I had the C-section, I couldn't even have my, you know what I'm saying, what's that? My skin to skin with my baby.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's rushed straight to the NICU. So you think about that kind of little stuff that you kind of like, dang, I wish I could have did these things, you know, a little bit different. But, you know, you live and you learn. I don't think I could have did what you did. I just know. It looked like you was in some deathly pain. And I was just like, I can understand why somebody want to do it your way, and I can understand why somebody like, oh, nah, give me that epidural. I can't take this no more. You know what I'm saying?
It is very painful, but see, I don't like being in control of what's going on, and that's why I was scared because I was there for her C-section, her emergency C-section, and I seen the C-section, and it scarred me for life. I was 16 years old when I seen it, and I just seen how the doctors were so. They was just so rough for her organs. I'm like, you're giving her a seat, they just pulling out the stomach, the uterus, pulling the baby out, throwing it back in. I'm like, oh, you should be delicate. These are organs. This is not natural. Nothing is natural about what you're doing right now, sir. You need to be delicate. So I had seen that, and then I seen her healing process, and it scarred me to death. Like, and when I had went in for a checkup, because I had went in when I was like 32 weeks or whatever, because I was trying to get a free breast pump through Medicaid, and the doctor had to fill it, but of course she ain't even fill it. She was on some BS. She was like, oh, you have to get it to postpartum after you have the baby. I was like, oh, so F y'all, and I never went back to the doctor. But she was trying to schedule me for a C-section because she said he wasn't head down yet, and he came out head down. I don't think he switched his head down until it was time to come, for real.
That whole day, probably.
Yeah.
It was turning.
Yeah, he was.
Right. It did not happen until that day of the actual labor.
When he came. And that's what, and with stuff like that, that's why I was just afraid to go to the hospital, because I'm like, man, they gonna try to give me a C-section, because they get paid more on C-sections, you know what I'm saying? Then a natural birth versus an epidural birth versus a C-section. The C-section is what you're getting paid the most out of. And black women have the worst care in the hospitals. Like, we have the worst care. We rich black, they was on a study A black woman with better insurance than a poor white woman on Medicaid. The poor white woman is still gonna get better care than a black woman who actually has really good insurance. So that's why I was cool on the hospital. I was cool on that whole process. Having a natural birth, I felt like I was in control of everything. I decided what I wanted to do. It wasn't nobody controlling me, telling me, oh, I can only labor in the water if I feel like I'm about to have a baby, you gotta get out, or it was just no control. I was in control of everything. I could walk around, move around. A lot of times in the hospital, they say they don't even want you really moving around. They keep telling you to lay down and shit. Like, this girl said she was trying to walk when she was going to labor, and they wouldn't let her.
You know what? I've seen it. I don't know. I've seen it both ways. I know. When I was in the labor delivery unit with my first one, it was girls walking, holding a little IV pole. They was walking. I just didn't walk. I don't know why. I just didn't. But I was only in labor for like 6 hours. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was kind of quick. But it was some girls that would walk around because it would help. And remember, it was at one point, Kayla, the pains, I could tell the pains was too much because she stayed like this. And at one point I was like, we got to get you walking. But I knew you couldn't. I knew you was like, I'm not going to walk. I knew you felt like that. But remember that last little stand up you had right before I went out to the car. Kayla stood straight up. It was the first time I think you stood straight up. The whole time you was in labor. Stood straight up, and she had her arms wrapped around my shoulder. It was like hugging. So I had her at the waist, and she had me at the shoulders. And I was rubbing her back. The contractions were real, real strong at this point. At this point, you was probably about 10 minutes before you had the baby.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
so weak.
Soon as you stood up, I felt like that was the rush down for him. You know what I'm saying? Because we did that for maybe about 45 seconds. I went to the car to try to set it up, came back out, and she was already going back into labor. She was already going into labor at that point. So I'm like, that's what she really, really needed. So for them to not let you walk, you really do need that. I've seen girls running up and down the steps trying to have these babies. You know what I'm saying? So that's...
I definitely felt him come all the way down as soon as I stood up. And so I was like, oh, he's coming. I'm about to have a child. And it was my home birth process. Courtney was there, was Sam there, and Stephen there as well. Stephen wasn't there for the birth, but he was there, being a man supporting, which was, he brought the liquor. And the conversation. You heard
the conversation. He went to sleep and he woke up. He was like, "Wake me up, or something about to happen." He slept in the whole day. He was like, "Oh, I got to go to work." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Can I have some relief so I can take a nap, please? You slept good last night."
He went straight to work afterwards. So it was a good time. I'm happy it happened. I'm happy that she was there to experience it. I would encourage a lot of women to do it, but you got to just mentally prepare yourself for it. I mentally prepare myself, but I still don't feel like I mentally prepare myself enough. Now that I know what it's like to give birth to a child, I could speak a little bit more on it, but it's more mental than everything. I kept mentally having to tell myself, like, this is going to pass. Like, this whole process that I'm going through is going to pass. It's not the end of the world. Because as soon as I started freaking out, then it felt worse. Everything would get worse. Because I was freaking out towards the end, and it just felt, horrible. If I probably was just to tell myself to calm down when them last contractions came, it probably wouldn't even been as painful as it was, especially if I would have squatted. But, just mentally prepare yourself. And if you haven't, please subscribe, like this video. And I'm out. I'm going to be making another video soon about my process with him and getting the birth certificate. A lot of people have been asking me about that and having him a part of the system. So I will definitely be keeping you updated on that. Click that bell button so you can know when I post something. Peace out.